And we are live. And I see that my best friend Lucy, or rather my best friend Ethel, is here to welcome me. So, hey, Hillary, it is so good to see you. I just had to give you that greeting. I know I shouldn't have done that right off the bat, but I just couldn't resist it. Okay, so now I'm going to get into mode. Okay, so tonight we are going to answer your questions. We are going to have some real talk. So I've got a question for you. How cluttered is your home on a scale of 1 to 5? Are there any homemakers out there that will admit that it's a 6 or a 7? Inquiring minds want to know. Or let's dig a little deeper. Which area of your home needs the most organization? Is it the kitchen, the bedrooms? Does your family room look like someone dropped a bomb on it? Because I must admit, mine frequently does. So I guess what you're telling me, because I can see what you're saying over there in the chat, is that your lived in house is not Pinterest perfect. And let's be real, a cozy home is not necessarily Pinterest perfect, and it rarely is. So, homemakers, let's get real and let's talk about life behind the scenes. Let's talk about what you don't see on the highlights reel, what you don't see on Instagram or Pinterest, and what you can do about it. I am answering your questions today. So, it is so good to have you all here with me. And on our last show, we talked about the fact that life is not a highlights reel. And if you missed that show, I will link it in the description box so that you can check it out because it was a good one. But in a nutshell, we emphasize that what you see on social media is a snapshot. It is a frozen moment. It is a captured moment in time. So let's pull back the curtain and talk about what life is really like for homemakers. What does homemaking really look like? So tell me, what does your home look like right now? Do you have areas of clean and pockets of mess? Areas of clean and pockets of mess. If the answer to that question is yes, I want you to type me in the chat, or if you're on the replay, type that in the description box. I'm getting all tongue tied tonight. If the answer to that question is yes, then type me in the chat if you're on the live, and in the comments section if you are on the replay. And if you're just joining us, I am Denise Jordan, your host, and this is our bi-weekly show, Homemaking with Purpose. And today we are looking at the top 7 problems that many homemakers have when it comes to making and keeping a home. And we're going to try together to come up with some solutions on what you can do about them. And then today's episode of Homemaking with Purpose is brought to you by Apron Diva, my online apron boutique. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. And we are having our Valentine's Day promotions going on. So, since February is Heart Health Awareness Month, and last week on February 2nd, the first Friday in February, was National Wear Red Day to bring awareness to women's heart health. We are celebrating heart health all month long with Apron Diva. So for every order that we receive, we are giving a red dress pin, the National Wear Red Day icon, but the red dress pin in every order that goes out. So you can see what we've got going on right now. These things here are less than $15. And this one is for Father's Day. So Father's Day is coming, ladies. So if you're looking for something for your hubby or your partner and he's a grill master, you can check this one out. And then here are some other things that we have, some Easter items, and then just other things coming up. So Valentine's Day, Easter, there you have it. So let us get back to it. So let me check over in the chat real quick just to see what people had to say in answer to those questions. And I'm getting lots of hellos. And so hello to all of you in the chat. I do appreciate your being here. But Ethel says, me. And her real name is Hillary Smith, but I call her Ethel and she calls me Lucy. For those of you that know about Ethel and Lucy as best friends. Living Natural says me. At Home with Susanna says pockets of mess. She has the floors with 3 cats. Okay, I get it. The pockets of mess. Miss Leona says me. And then Michelle says me. And Joe says, I got my bedroom mess under control this week. Boom, Joe, I'm right there with you. So Joe, I want you to know you inspired me to jump in on the 10 minutes better train. After I watched your video where you got your bedroom together, I thought, I need to do some things in my bedroom. And I thought I can probably get it done in 10 minutes. So I did do a video and I did put it up. So if you guys missed the Power of 10 Minutes video inspired by Joe at the Minimal Zebra, please check that out. Now, Joe, I did learn that challenge is actually hosted by Melinda at Melinda Plain and Simple, and you were collaborating with her. But it was your video that I saw that inspired me to jump on the train. So thank you for that inspiration. And I did give Melinda the proper credit in the description box because I didn't know about that ahead of time. But thank you, Joe, for joining me today. And my bedroom is good too. And so you've got a small, tidy task to do. Michelle says her master bedroom and bath are clean. The kitchen is a mess. Family and dining room a little messy. So there we have it. So that's what's going on in the chat right now. So let's just go right ahead and jump into the content. And one of the things that I wanted to share is that so many homemakers have one of these 7 problems. And actually, I did a little research to find out what were the top 7 problems or challenges that most homemakers have, particularly young homemakers, but we seasoned homemakers have some of these same issues. And the first one was time management. Time management was a big issue for many of the young homemakers. And they're trying to juggle various responsibilities while trying to find time for work, for household chores, for taking care of their children, and any personal activities. This has been cited as the number 1 challenge for most homemakers, but particularly young homemakers, is time management. So let me just ask you out there in the chat, on an average, how many hours per week do you spend on household chores? How many hours per week do you spend on household chores? And on those same lines, what's your biggest time management challenge? Is it balancing work and home, or finding time for self-care, or is it something else? Let me know in the chat or in the comment section. And then this is a big one right here. What household chore do you most dread? I would really like to know. So give me the answer to those. So, okay. And I got notes all over the place because, like I said, I was doing a little research. So I got notes all over the place. So So let's make sure I stay on track. And so many of the young homemakers, the problem that they have in regards to time management is that they just feel like there's not enough hours in the day. So what can you do about that? What is the solution? And one of the big issues is overcommitment. So what you don't want to do is overcommit, which means, Miss Leona, because I see you out there, which means, Michelle, because I see you out there, is you have to learn to say no. And I'm talking to myself too. You have to learn to say no, because people will ask you to do things because they know you'll get them done. They say, if you want something done, ask a busy person. However, you can overcommit and wear yourself out. So you have to learn to say no. The other solution to your time management issue is to set priorities. Decide what's most important, what has to be done, what can be put off to another day, and what can just be, oh, well. Think about that. Set your priorities. And then the next issue, or rather, the next solution is going to be routines. Routines, routines, routines. Did I say routines? Routines are one of the big helpers in helping you to get a hold of your time. The other thing you can do is to use a planner or a calendar. And they really help you to stay on top of things because you can look at your calendar or look at your planner, see what you've got going on for the day, and then set your priorities on what needs to get done and then execute it. And that planner can be a number of different ways. It could be a digital planner, something that you keep like on your iPad or on your phone. It can be a pencil and paper planner. Let me grab mine. I had it because I was working with it earlier and I wasn't thinking that I might want to show it, but I want to show you what I've been doing in it because some days I don't stay on top of it, but I like to decorate my planners. And so I've been working on that. So let me just get this off the screen so I can show you what I've been doing. Look, isn't that cute? But one of the things that I know is that when I decorate my planner, I am more engaged with it. And when I'm more engaged with it, I see what I've got going on. I see what needs to be done, and I'm more likely to execute. So a phone, putting things in your phone, they've got tasks and to-do lists in your phone, using a digital planner or a pencil and paper planner. I know Blue Skies, my sister Mickey Blue Skies is using a digital planner this year. I still like the pencil and paper version because I'm old school. I need to be able to pick it up and look at it. And so those are some solutions that can help. So now let's take a look to see what people are saying in the chat, and then we'll come back over here. So I had asked the question, what were the challenges that people dreaded? And let's see. So we've got a lot of talk going on. So Hillary says she's been on a decor shopping spree. So now she's got to go through old stuff and sell or donate. So that means she's picking up quite a bit of, I'll say, clutter. And clutter is things that you don't, either they have a place and they're not in it, or you've got too much stuff and you need to get rid of some of it. So Hillary's been working on redecorating. So she's going to have to move out some of those things that's no longer serving her. So Joe says she dreads laundry and shower cleaning. You know, Joe, laundry is one of my favorite tasks. I love the puzzle of figuring out what to do. I got a stain on this. Okay, so what's the science behind getting out that stain? That kind of thing. So remember, I always say homemaking is an art and a science. And the art is what you yourself bring to the homemaking perspective. The flowers you put on the table, what kind of meals you prepare, and how you have the table set and all of that. But the science comes in with the chemicals you use, like baking soda to scrub out a stain or to clean the shower surround, like my house solution that I like to make up of Dawn water and vinegar to clean my shower. So do those things. And I tell you, Joan, one of the things that I found that works really well for us is I buy the Method shower cleaner. And once you take a shower, you just spray the walls and everything down. And it just kind of helps to get started on things and gets things cleaned. And my husband will use that. It makes cleaning the shower once a week or whenever you put it on your zone cleaning list so much easier. And I like to use in my bathroom, I like to use the Dawn vinegar and water solution. And what I will do is I will spray all the walls in the shower surround, and I'll let that sit for a few minutes while I'm cleaning the sink and the mirror and all that kind of stuff. Then when I get over there with a sponge, I can just kind of wipe things down. And my husband put in a handheld sprayer. For me, that was a game changer because then I could just grab that hose and just kind of spray it like a water hose. And it just makes it so much easier. And then, of course, you've got the tub at the bottom. So there's that. Let's see what else is going on over here. Um, So Susanna says her bathroom with lots of stone tile. You know, Susanna, I hadn't thought about that. I have bathroom envy of my niece. She's got one of those huge bathrooms with a huge walk-in shower with a huge glass front, and you can walk in either side, and it's all some kind of a stone tile. I hadn't thought about having to clean that tile and all that grout. So I'm glad you brought that up. My bathroom envy just now dissipated. Because, yeah, you got to clean that out. So Michelle dreads the shower. And Tina Gonzalez says that she lives alone with her husband. Okay, so you and your husband are there in the house. He works outside the home. You don't drive and you don't know anyone around you, no friends. So you're home all day and get bored with cleaning all the time. And you know, Tina, this is one of the many problems that homemakers have is isolation. It was in the top 10, but it wasn't the top 7. And I was only looking at the top 7 today. But we talked about the problem with isolation last week, and isolation can be a problem. So, what you might consider doing is finding an online chat group that you can be in, something that you can do like face to face, like we're doing now, some kind of a Zoom group. Those are fun. Um, if you've got a library in your area, there might be like some kind of a reading group. Those are always fun. And if you ladies have any other suggestions for Tina, please leave it in the chat or in the comments section. And Tina, I want to welcome you to our show. Welcome to Homemaking with Purpose in our homemaking community. We've got a lovely community of ladies over here, and you are certainly welcome to join us every Wednesday that we're on. The show is bi-weekly, but sometimes I'll just go ahead and do one back to back. But we did miss last week. So if you've missed our previous shows, please catch us on the live stream replays. So one of the things that Joe talked about was dealing with chronic pain. And people that deal with chronic pain sometimes have an issue with their cleaning, and you just have to do what you can do. So Michelle says she has learned to say no, and she says no to hubby and son, meaning no dinner until you help me do the dishes. I like it. Boom. I like it. There's no reason why you have to do it all. And me and my husband now, we work very much together in that regard. When I make dinner, he'll wash the dishes. Now I'll help put away the food. I'll get them out of the pots and pans and get them put in the storage containers that we're going to put them away in. I'll clean the table off and do all that kind of thing while he's washing the dishes or loading the dishwasher or whatever. But we work together in that regard, and it's just nice. So for those of you with littles, or if it's just you and your boo, get them to help you wash the dishes and clean up the kitchen with that after dinner cleanup. Even your 3-year-old, as Fly Lady Cat says, can carry their plate over to the sink and then hand it to you, and then you can do what you need to do from there. But get your family involved in that cleanup so you don't have to do it all yourself. And then Michelle says she's a pen and paper list maker. That's right, you do love to make lists. So Leona says she likes to decorate her planner, but she can lose track of time. And I know it's been a while since I had been decorating my planner. So I just got started doing that about a month ago. And you can go down a rabbit hole and lose track of time. So what I've been doing is I work on it on Sunday during my quiet time, when it's the time that I can just relax. Dinner's done. Maybe hubby's watching football. I'll spread out my stuff on the kitchen table and just relax and do that. And it's very therapeutic. So Kim's Rural Life has joined us from her Wisconsin farm. Kim, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And we are talking about the fact that life is not a highlights reel. So what goes on in the real time? What goes on in real life? And so you can just jump right in with us in that regard. And yes, Joe, do try that shower trick. So Leona says her closet is really difficult to keep perfect. She spends 15 minutes each week reorganizing the shoes and the dresses. So Leona, let me just say that first off, the word that I see that I think is a problem is perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to work for you. And getting them organized is, if that's what you need to do to work for you, then that's what you need to do. You probably like to have your dresses in one area, your shoes here, blouses, skirts, whatever. But yes, get it organized so that it works for you. And we talked about organizing the pantry and a few things like that a couple of weeks ago, I believe. And one of the things that I mentioned was if it doesn't work for your family, it doesn't work. So, homemakers out there, when you're organizing those closets for your children, for your spouse, and for yourself, if it's not working for you or for the people that need to be in there, it's not working. And so you have to make it work for whoever is in that space. So, Miss Leona, let me just kindly, very gently say, don't worry about it being perfect. Just worry about it working for you. And I know you know that. So Hillary says she gives herself grace and does what she can every day, aside from what trying to do what she must, and then she rests, and then she gives the rest to God. So that makes sense. So Natasha's here saying hello, and Bathshua is here, and she dreaded the shower because it's a low profile due to her husband's disability. It wrecks her knees. So she got knee pads, and it makes cleaning low areas better. So yes, Bathshua, that is something to consider doing. First of all, you helped yourself come up with a solution, which was to get some knee pads. And I got when I need to get on my knees, I've got my knee pads that I use when it's like one large pad, like a little knee cushion that I use for gardening. And I put it on the walkway and I'm on my knees digging in the dirt or whatever. I bring that in and use that when I need to get on my knees in the house. So you did the right thing in finding something to make it a little bit easier. Now, here's the other thing that I learned about those showers and husbands in the shower. My husband's shower, he'll clean the surrounds, he'll spray the method shower spray on it, and it helps everything to kind of drip down. But that shower floor can get kind of grody. So at least once a week, you want to get in there. And I like to use the Dawn. And let me just put in the combination. I call it my house cleaning solution. It's also a house stain removal solution, but it's 1 part Dawn, 1 part vinegar, and 1 part water. Now, this is what I use. It is very, very, very good. It's a great cleaner. It's a DIY or do-it-yourself cleaner, but it works. And here's why. Dawn has some surfactants in it and other things that are specifically designed to get rid of grease and grime and things like that. As you know, Dawn was used to help clean up oil spills, to get the oil off of the feathers and fur of wildlife. So it is one of those that is good for the environment, but is also helpful, very helpful in breaking up grease and things like that. So I'll get the Dawn, and I don't know, probably any good dishwashing liquid will work, but I like to use the Dawn because I know what it'll do. I've seen what it can do on a national level in a big like situation. So I make up my cleaning solution with Dawn. I tend to buy the blue Dawn for my cleaning solution, but some people like to use the clear Dawn so that it doesn't separate in the jar. I think Michelle might be one of those that likes to get the clear Dawn, but it really helps. And so spray that on that shower floor, on the floor of that shower, or on the shower surround, and let it sit. And that's one of the problems that we as homemakers, many of us do, is we'll spray it on and then we'll wipe it off right away. Well, most of the cleaning solutions will say spray it on and let it sit 30 seconds or let it sit for a minute. You got to give it time to do its work. So spray it on, let it sit, and then get a nice little scrubber sponge that you use in the bathroom and scrub that puppy out, and it'll be so much easier for you. I think I've missed a couple comments up here, so let me go back. And hey, Natasha. And guys, please say welcome, Tina. Now, Joe is speaking to Tina, and she says she doesn't drive either, and she too struggles with isolation. So she uses Marco Polo and other social media apps to chat with friends. And then there's other groups you can find online and on Facebook and things like that that you can get to know people with. So let's consider that. So Bathshua says pain and fatigue has worn her out at times, so housework has taken a back seat. And of course, sometimes that's what you have to do. So not Ethel, but Hillary and Joe, they both talk about that when they're having their issues with their pain, they just have to stop. So you have to listen to your body, set priorities, and do what needs to be done, and oh well for the rest. And then you can come back around and hit that oh well area the next time. And so Kim says that with her chronic pain, she finds that breaking tasks up is helpful. So she'll do one thing on the list, and then if she has energy, she'll spend a few minutes doing something else, like clean, organize the drawers or shelves. And then here's the other thing to think about. You have to know yourself. So I know me. I am a morning person. I have the most energy when I first get up in the morning. Come 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I'm winding down. So I'm the Energizer Bunny at 7 a.m. But come 2 o'clock, I'm like, so I know that I need to get what I need to get done early in the day. And then later in the day, it's not going to happen because I just won't have the energy to do that. Okay, so Natasha says her problem is finding the right storage bins that works in her closet to keep things organized and readily accessible. And Natasha, you can look on Amazon, but this is where I recommend Pinterest. Go to Pinterest and just look at all the different setups that you see And many times they will tell you where they bought things and then go to Target, look around, see what's there, go to Walmart. And then after you look at all these different things, then decide what works for you. You don't want to buy the storage bins first until you already have decluttered and you know how much space you have to use and how many things you need to store. And then you can purchase the storage bins. And then Tammy says she's seriously thinking of replacing her glass shower door with a good old-fashioned shower curtain. That's certainly another good solution, Tammy, because the shower curtains, you can take them down, throw them in the wash, put them back up, and then there's no problem with that. Okay. So Kim likes the scrubbing bubbles. They loosen up everything. And I used to buy the scrubbing bubbles, but I don't anymore. I'm really trying to restrict the amount of chemicals, the amount of products that I bring into the house. So I'm in the process of using up things that I already have here, but I mostly use my Dawn vinegar and water solution, that kind of thing. Okay, let me stop and let me get back to the topic at hand, because you guys know I can get to chatting and we can get to going in the chat and then we don't finish the content. Okay, so we looked at problem number one was time management. So now problem number two for so many homemakers is financial strain. And I tell you, I thought it was interesting that financial strain was problem number two. And I'm not surprised that it is. It is the in the top 10, and like you can see here, it is number two, but financial strain is one of the biggest problems with homemakers, particularly our young homemakers, as they learn to manage a budget, especially if it's a small budget, or I should say a limited budget, with the rising costs we have today. And I have to tell you, I was out shopping last week and I was appalled at the price of things. And my grocery shopping budget is not limited. I tend to buy what I want to buy, but now it's going to be limited because I'm now on a budget for groceries, whereas before I really didn't budget for that. I'll tell you more about that and why in a little bit. But that's a big problem for many homemakers. The financial stress associated with the cost of living going up and trying to manage things on a budget can be a big issue, particularly if they have not learned how to manage a checkbook, how to manage a budget, that kind of thing. And I have to tell you guys a little bit about myself. When I was a young homemaker, managing a budget was such a strain for me. I did not learn how to do that at home. I didn't know how to manage a checkbook. I wrote my first check when I was a college student, and we had gotten in line for our financial aid. And then they tell you how much money you're gonna have, and they give you the checks. And then further down the line is people from the bank, and they sign you up for a checking account, and you put the money in the bank, and then that's it. Nobody tells you how to manage the money. By the time you get to the end of the line, you've paid your tuition, you paid for your, you paid your tuition. So they already took that money out. Now you got to go to the bookstore, buy your books, and then what's left over, you're supposed to use or manage for the rest of the semester. Who knew how to do that? I certainly didn't. And then when we got married, I didn't know how, I still didn't really know how to manage a checkbook, because now I'm trying to manage a checkbook. And you talking about limited income. When we first got married, my husband's job was washing test tubes in the lab and then taking care of the mice and stuff like that. He worked in one of the laboratories as that. And I was home. Now, we were both college students, seniors in college, but that was his work study job, was working in the lab. We didn't have, as they used to say, I'm going to excuse my language, but we didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. That would be a good description of us at that time, senior years in college. And then we had these two babies because we had twins. And so trying to manage a budget on that limited income was very difficult. And then we finished college. We both got jobs. And do you think I knew how to manage it yet? No, I still didn't. I remember once I was sitting in the bank, sobbing. I mean, literally sobbing because our checking account was $100 overdrawn. Now, in 1975, $100 was a lot of money. It's not so much now, but it's a lot depending upon how much you have coming in. But I was sobbing because our checking account was overdrawn. And so it's overdrawn $100, and the bank's going to charge you all these fees for each check. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm a smart person. I have a college degree. Why can't I do this? It took me years to really learn how to manage a checkbook. And I tell you what, I did get some help from an organization called Consumer Credit Counseling, which showed you how to budget, how to manage your checkbook, and also not to use credit because, of course, when you're in college, you get into that credit trap. They had people with credit cards lined up right there with everybody else offering you a credit card. I never had a credit card before. Now I had one. Who knew how to use it? Wasn't me. So those are some things that create financial strain in young homemakers. And I'm just, being real. I'm pulling back the curtain, letting you know how things were then. Now, right now, I do know how to manage the checkbook. I know how to balance it. I know how to set a budget and those kind of things. But it took some growing to do that. So yeah, that can be a problem. So now, what are some solutions for that? And I will say too that it did cause a lot of arguments between me and my husband because neither one of us knew what we were doing. And I remember Tabitha Brown was on some show, and Tabitha Brown is making good money off of YouTube and other investments that she has going on. And someone made the comment about her husband, and right now he's not working. She was able to retire him as a police officer, and he works with her in the business. And somebody made the comment about the money, and she said, look, we overdrew that account together when we were first getting started, and so now we're going to both benefit from whatever we have coming in. And I had to laugh because I thought, yeah, me and my husband, we both overdrew that account together. He would write checks, I would write checks, and it's like two people can't write checks on one checkbook. I mean, on one checking account. And one of the things that he would do is he would get a check out of the box, write a check, leave a little note in the box. I got the checkbook in my purse or somewhere else in the house, so I don't know what's going on in the box until I'm trying to bounce the checkbook. And I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, it was a learning process for both of us. And luckily, we have made that leap now, but it can be a huge issue. So, what is the solution for young homemakers today? And the first thing you want to do is learn how to manage a budget. You just have to learn how to set a budget and how to manage it. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but one of the books that I read years ago was by Glenda Bridgeforth, and it was called Girl, Get Your Money Straight. And then she wrote another one that was Girl, Get Your Credit Right. Things like that. And I'll put her links in the description box. Nothing's in there now, but I'll put it in there after the show. But she talked about how to manage your credit, how to get things going right, and how to manage your money. And for those of you that don't know, for those you young women out there, when we were first married, a woman couldn't get a credit card on her own. Once you were married, you had to have your husband co-sign to get a credit card, or the credit card was in your husband's name. Yeah. You couldn't buy a car without your husband co-signing. Now, we both had jobs. I worked full-time. He worked full-time. But you had to have your husband co-sign, doing different little things like that. Well, it's not so much today. You don't have to be bothered with that kind of thing today. However, it is still important that even if you're trying to get your own money right, you have to learn how to do it. So I'll put those books down in there. But here's another thing too that you can do. And when I was a young homemaker, you could go to the bank and then somebody there would balance your checkbook and help you work it out. But they didn't necessarily teach you how to do it. They would do it for you and then, okay, go and send no more. Today, you can go to the credit union, wherever you bank, and they will have someone there that can teach you how to do that properly. the bank officers, not the big bank officers, but the people that work in the lower levels in there, they will offer different classes, especially at the credit unions, to teach you how to do that. So contact your bank to see what do you offer members to help learn how to manage their money. And there would be someone to help you with that. There's other financial plans that you can purchase to help you with that. One of the ones that is very well known is Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. And I will say right now, our church is holding a 9-week class where church members can join that class. The church is paying for it, and you can learn how to budget, how to pay off debt, how to manage your money. So there are solutions for you. You just have to take advantage of them. You have to, first of all, see the need to take advantage of them and then take advantage of them. So there's that. The other biggie problem that people have has to do with organization and clutter. That was number 3. That was number 3, organization and clutter. And, just trying to keep your home organized and neat and tiny. You bring things in, you don't take things out. So things can become disorganized quickly because you begin to have more and more and more things and no place to put them. So what are some solutions for the problem with organization and clutter? Well, first of all, it's going to be routines. Routines, routines, routines. Did I say routines? That's going to be a big solution in managing organization and clutter problems. So when I say routines, I'm talking about daily routines, weekly routines, and zone cleaning or monthly routines. And those zone cleaning or monthly routines are your deep cleaning items. So those are the different things that you want to talk about, that you want to think about in that regard. And then, of course, your daily clutter stops, your 3 times a day clutter stops. And clutter stops is something that Fly Lady Cat came up with. And it's where you just stop 3 times a day, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, and maybe before bed if you need to do it again. And you just kind of look around and you see what's out of place. Now, this thing has a place, it's just not in it. So if I look around, I'll see that I've got this book on top of my printer. That's not where it should be. I have a bookshelf right here that this book can go on. Or I have a bookshelf here. I've got one down here. Why does it need to be on top of the printer? It doesn't. So I put it in its place. That's a clutter stop. Clutter stops clutter magnets tend to be flat surfaces. Well, it's a flat surface, so it's a clutter magnet. This sofa right here is a flat surface, so it's a clutter magnet. So it's important to, not only do you do your daily cleaning, your daily routine, your weekly routine, then your deep cleaning or zone cleaning routines, and then your 3 times a day or 4 times a day clutter stops, where you just kind of take those little minions that are out of place and put them back where they belong. And so what will happen is that you'll get to the point where you will find yourself cleaning a clean room because of those routines. And an example of that was when I was doing my daily swish and swipe, which is I wipe out the bathroom sink, I wipe down the bathroom mirrors, and then swish the toilet in all 3 bathrooms every morning. That's one of the first things I do every morning. And I was doing the downstairs bathroom. And when I was bending over to do the swishing of the toilet, I kind of looked on the side of the floor towards the back of the toilet. And I thought, this bathroom looks pretty darn clean. And I had cleaned it as part of my zone cleaning last week. And it looked pretty good. I thought, I'm cleaning a clean bathroom. And I liked the thought of that. So I was doing my daily swish and swipe in there, which keeps it that way. I don't have to wonder if someone stops in to visit and they say, oh, well, let me use the bathroom before I go. I don't have to run in there and check the bathroom. I know what it looks like. So there's that. Let's see. Let's make sure I stay on top of things. Oh, and then I also, when we talk about organization and clutter, I want to come back to the 10 minutes better. I didn't mean to talk about that so early, but when Joe was on, I just had to talk about it with her because she was the inspiration for that. But my 10 minutes better, power of 10 minutes was one of the things that I did to address the clutter. And in this particular video, I have been sitting in the bed working on my planner and scrapbook and stuff. So my husband and I go to bed at the same time. And on this particular day, I had gone up early because I had been feeling a little under the weather. So he said, "Why don't you go up and lay down?" So I went up, and instead of lying down, I'm sitting there with all my stuff spread out on the bed. And then he comes up, he's like, "Well, didn't you think I'd be coming up sooner or later?" So I had to move everything over. So over in front of me on the nightstand, I even put some things on the floor. And I just kind of sat there working for about another hour or so. And then when I got ready to go to sleep, I just set everything down on the floor. So I had stuff on the dresser, on the floor, on the nightstand. And so that next day, when it was time to do my tidy up in the bedroom, I had already seen Joe's video. And I thought, I need to take care of all of this, and I'll bet I could do it in 10 minutes. So you guys have to check out the video to see if I got it done. But I did want to bring that. So, but the other thing that Fly Lady Cat mentioned when I was talking with her last week, and she is my like homemaking mentor. I talk to her twice a month. And she talked about a 222 rule that one of her mentees had shared with her. And it's where you can do something in 2 seconds, something in 20 seconds, and something in 2 minutes. And it's like 2 seconds, you can pick up something. 20 seconds, you can not only pick it up, but you can probably take it to where it belongs. Or there might be a little task you can do, like maybe if you're in the kitchen and the sink is messy because somebody's left crumbs, you can probably clean that up in 20 seconds. And then you can certainly get something done in 2 minutes. So that's where that is. So you can think about that. And I think that was it. So let me check the chat to see what people mentioned, how many hours they spend in cleaning. So Hillary says a huge challenge for her is her two grown sons and 5-year-old granddaughter moved in. Oh my goodness, with all of their stuff. Her two grown sons and 5-year-old granddaughter moved in with all their stuff. So now, Hillary, you've got 3 people who have moved into a space that's already accommodating possibly 2 people with all of their stuff, and you already have places for things. So what you're going to need to do is have them figure out where some of their stuff is going to go. So maybe they're going to need to put some of their stuff into bins or containers, and it's going to have to be in the garage because they probably have furniture, and even if it wasn't big furniture like sofas and things, they're going to have books and maybe radios or some kind of gaming console, but they're going to have things that you don't have space for. So encourage them to box up that they don't absolutely positively have to have and put it in the garage or have them put it in a storage unit, because you can't have 2 houses in one house and everything fits perfectly. It just doesn't work that way. So think about that. Now, your 5-year-old granddaughter, she's going to have her own room. The 2 boys, they can share the room together if they need to, but the little girl's going to have her own room. So that's creating more space needs in that regard too. But you can certainly have her pick out her most favorite toys, her favorite dolls, the things she absolutely has to have, and box the rest of it up and then put it in the garage or in the attic. And then you can swap things out when it comes to time. But yeah, that can be an issue. And certainly they're moving in to save money, maybe on housing or whatever, but they can probably, the 2 of them, afford a storage unit. So some of that stuff can go in there until they're able to get back out into their own housing. So Michelle says they charge everything, but they use it like a bank account and they pay it in full every month. And Michelle, here's the thing about that: discipline. You and your hubby have the discipline to do that. You guys have learned those skill sets and you have the discipline to do that. When I was a young homemaker, When I was charging stuff on credit cards, I was charging more stuff on credit cards and paying the minimal amount. And that's what so many people do. So those are all skill sets that one has to learn. And I'm so glad that you and your husband were able to learn it. And I hear what you're saying. I think you said that you feel like credit cards are safer than debit cards, and they can be. But whichever one you use, you just have to have the discipline to take care of it appropriately. And that's what's lacking in some of the young homemakers at this time. Uh, Tina says that she gets bored with routines and stops doing them after a while. Tina, those routines are what keeps you keeping things neat and tidy. However, maybe you could switch it up as to when you do them. I do mine first thing in the morning. Maybe you could interrupt that pattern and do something else in the time that you might have done something else and swap that out. So that's the only thing I can think of there. So yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying, Michelle. Swap it up, change it up so that you don't get bored. And then Joe said she tidies as she goes. It just seems to conserve energy that way. Let's see. Oh my. Hillary says Santa brought her granddaughter a Barbie dream house, which is currently in her living room. It's huge. Yeah, it is huge. And I tell you what, the number of Barbies and all those hundreds of little accessories, you could, depending upon how large her bedroom is, you could ask her to put it in her bedroom and she could play with it in there. Now, she may like playing with it in the living room because she's out there with the family and can kind of participate and see what other people are doing. But you might need to, one, if you want to keep it in the living room, put it over in a corner or some area and move some other things out temporarily and put those away until times change. My throat is so dry and scratchy tonight. Not sure what's going on. Hi, Amanda from Amanda Down Under. She's in Australia. She says this will help. She's not good these days with housework, etc. Amanda, housework, homekeeping is something we have to learn and we have to establish our routines. And I'm going to be coming upon routines again in just a minute. So I'm going to wait and then I'll mention that when I get there. But no, I'm going to talk about it now since we're here. So I think having the routines will help you. Now, what do I mean by routines? Let me explain mine, and then you can figure out what routine will work for you. And as you can tell, some of these other ladies have routines that they use, and sometimes they may need to switch them up a little bit. I like the fly lady. Well, I like the fly lady routine. That fly lady routine really changed my life because it gave me a system to address my home. Before, I would just clean whatever looked like it needed cleaning, but now I have a system, and sometimes a system is what is needed. And you can scale a system. You can scale it up and you can scale it down, but you can't scale helter skelter. So with the Fly Lady routine, and I'm going to link Fly Lady Cat in the description box. She's the best Fly Lady on YouTube. But what I encourage you to do is just take a look at that. There's also, I think, Clean Mama. There's a whole bunch of different ones you can check out. But I found the Fly Lady routine to be best for me. And then once you really get into it and you've been on it for a few years, you can make a couple little tweaks that work best for you, but you're not trying to reinvent the wheel and you're not trying to do fly lady ish. You're just going to do fly lady. And that's what I do. So with the fly lady routine, it's as Fly Lady Cat says, it's a 3-layer cake. The first layer is your daily routines. Now, what does that include? The daily routine is your daily swish and swipe, which I explained was swishing out the toilet bowl, wiping down the bathroom mirror, and wiping out the bathroom sink. Because you and your husband, or you and your partner, or you and the kiddos are in those bathrooms and they're messing things up. So you do that every day, and it keeps the bathroom down to a dull roar. It keeps it neat and tidy. Now, on top of that, you're going to have to make sure that you're getting those littles to pick their towels up and put things where they belong. So that's the daily routine. Well, that's not all of it. So the daily swish and swipe. Also, you unload the dishwasher or load the dishwasher. So let's say, well, I should say you do the dishes. That's daily. So I'll do my daily swish and swipe, and then I'll unload the dishwasher because I loaded the dishwasher and ran it the night before. So the next morning, after I've done my swish and swipe, I'm going to unload the dishwasher, put the dishes away. So now the dishwasher is ready to receive dirty dishes for the day. You don't have a dishwasher, you're going to wash your dishes the night before. If you lay them in a drying rack on the counter to dry, then that next morning you're going to put those away and have them put away. So now your sink is ready to receive dirty dishes. Now, you probably don't want to have dirty dishes sitting in your sink all day. So one of the things that Fly Lady Cat suggests is have like one of those little dish pans and put the dirty dishes in that until you're ready to wash them. If you're home all day, you can wash those dishes immediately after breakfast, wash them after lunch, and then wash them after dinner. If you don't have that option, then put them in a dish pan and set it in the sink or underneath the sink so that when you come in, you can take care of that. Start a load of laundry every day. So I do a load of laundry every day. So first thing I do once I come down and get the dishwasher unloaded, or sometimes before, is I'll throw in a load of laundry. And then while it's washing, I can do some other things. And then after breakfast, I clean up after breakfast, and then I look around, see what needs, if there's anything that needs putting away. So I do a clutter stop. And then by that time, maybe the washer has stopped and I need to put those clothes into the dryer. I get them in the dryer. I'll take care of my zone cleaning and then get the clothes out of the dryer, get them folded and put away. So that's my load of laundry. Depending upon what day it is or how much laundry I have, I might do 2 loads, but that's rare. And so laundry, dishes, daily swish and swipe. That's the things that you want to get done. Oh, and clutter stop every day. That keeps your house neat. And then the weekly routine includes a weekly plan, which is on Sunday through Saturday, you do something different. Monday is the weekly home blessing, which includes stripping your beds and throwing those sheets in the wash, and then emptying all the little trash cans in your house. So my husband empties the trash. So when I'm cleaning the bathrooms, doing the swish and swipe, I'll set those little trash cans in the hallway. I just line them up so he sees them, so he knows, oh, it's a weekly home blessing. So he'll take care of those. Sweep the floors, mop the floors, but you're sweeping like the kitchen floor. And then you're mopping the floors, but you're mopping in the primary walkway areas. So our bathroom floors are small. Our floors that actually need mopping are small. So he'll tend to mop all of those, like he'll start the top and then work his way to the bottom or whatever. But you sweep the floors, mop the floors, clean all the glass where in the primary area. So let's say you have a bunch of littles and they like to keep their fingerprints on your storm door, or you've got a cat or a dog and they're getting nose prints up there. You would wipe that down, wipe your mirrors, dust any surfaces. And so that's your weekly home blessing. It only takes about an hour. Sometimes it takes me an hour and a half, just because since I'm older, I'm a little bit slower at getting that done. So, but since he takes care of the trash and he'll do the mopping and the vacuuming, then I can get things done a little quicker in that way. I just had to learn that he's going to do the vacuuming and he's going to get it and he's going to do it today, but he may not do it right this second just because I'm working on this and that and the other right now. He might be in his studio working on something, and when he finishes that, then he'll get to the mopping and that kind of thing. But that's the weekly home blessing. It's just a blessing. It's not a deep cleaning, but you're doing a neat and tidy kind of thing around your house. And you've already done your clutter stop as part of your morning routine, which you do every day anyway. And then, so that's Monday. Tuesday is free day for me. You can move those days around, but since I'm home, Tuesday's my free day. That means I don't have any deep cleaning or zone work on Tuesday. I still have my daily swish and swipe, my laundry that needs to be started, my unloading of the dishwasher. I still have that daily routine that I take care of. Wednesday is the planning day. So you plan what you're going to do for the next week, pay your bills, make your grocery list out, put in your grocery order if that's what you're going to do, or at least have the list ready so that on Thursday, which is errand day, you can go out, pick up your groceries, or if you're having them delivered, Oh, I also clean my fridge on Wednesday so that it's ready to receive my groceries on Thursday. And Thursday is errand days. So if I've got to go to the library, I get my hair done on Thursday. I might go to the post office on Thursday. Whatever I run around I got to do, I do that on Thursday and I come on back. And then on Friday is car and purse day, which I did not get my car or purse cleaned out last Friday. So right now they're a hot mess. But car and purse day is you clean out your car, you take a little trash bag, get all the little minions out of your car that might be in there. If you've got kids that are big enough to help, you give them a little bag and help them, have them help clean out the car. If you've got babes in car seats, then you're going to like clean out their little cup holder, just kind of wipe things down, just neat and tidy up the car on Friday, and then also clean out your purse. You know how our purses can get. And then on Saturday is family day. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, you've gotten all your stuff done during the week. So on Saturday, you can spend time with family. You still have your daily routines to do. And then on Sunday is renew your spirit, which is like church or whatever it is you do to kind of refresh your mind, that kind of thing. If you're a working mom, you work outside the home, then all those daily routines that I just talked about, you don't have to do on Saturday and Sunday. If you work from home, you're still a working mom. You're not expected to be working and taking care of your house stuff. You're expected to work. So all that other stuff that I just mentioned, you're going to do on the weekend. So that's the caveat with a working mom, is that you still have all the exact same stuff to do that the stay-at-home moms do. You just have less time to do it because a big chunk of your day has been taken out for work. So you got to find time to do those things that I've been able to do during the week on the weekend. And you want to try to get it done in the first couple of hours on Saturday so that you've got the rest of the day to spend with your family and Sunday to just kind of relax. If you have to do some laundry and cleaning on Saturday and Sunday, so be it. But try to get it done early on so that you've got some time to spend with that family. And then the zone cleaning is the deep cleaning. And there's no spring cleaning with the Fly Lady system. It's you're working on things all year round. So zone 1 is the entryways. That's going to be your front door, your back patio, um, your garage entrance, whatever way you enter your home. And some people have their dining room as part of their entryway because it's like right off their front hall. Sometimes it's the landing on the steps, but your entryway is zone 1. Zone 2 is the kitchen. Zone 3 is the master bathroom and one other room. Zone 4 is the master bedroom, master bathroom, and master bedroom closet. And then zone 5 is the family room and the living room. And those coincide with the weeks of the month. So zone 1, week 1, zone 2, week 2, etc. And then you choose 4 things in that zone to work on that week. And those 4 things, each item shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. So this is zone 2. So I'm working in the kitchen. So maybe one of the 15-minute tasks that I'm going to do this week is clean the microwave. And I'll do that today. And then I won't do anything else in there other than my daily cleanup until the next day. If I'm working as a working mom, then I'm going to do those 4 tasks on Saturday. So I hope that helps you understand how that Fly Lady system works. But that's what I do about that. So let's see, the chat is hopping over here. Tina's talking about the Barbie dream house. Michelle's giving her daily routine. She makes the bed, a load of laundry, pick up and put away around the whole house, dishes and countertops, touch up the bathrooms. That's all the exact same things that I just said. Absolutely. Now, Michelle does a modified Fly Lady system. I think she used to do Fly Lady a long time ago and kind of switched it up to make things work for her. But you see, we're incorporating the same things. These are the things that you need to do to kind of keep your house under control. And so Tammy says she needs a cleaning routine. Tammy, consider the Fly Lady cleaning routine. It has really changed my life and how I do things. So Tina says she has a Fly Lady app, but she's not faithful to it to check it off everything. You know, sometimes when I was using the Fly Lady app, when I first got started, that was just overwhelming because you got so much email. It was just, I just couldn't keep track of it all. But Fly Lady Cat just makes it so much simpler. And then I just put the things in my planner as to what it is I'm going to do, what zone I'm working on, and what it is I'm going to do. And then I go from there. Okay, let's see. So Michelle said she doesn't know how she got her house clean when she worked outside the home. She feels like it's harder now than when she worked. But Michelle, that is one of the things to think about is that we are older, so we don't have as much energy, as much capacity to do things as we did when we were younger. But okay, but that was one of the things that I wanted to mention when I talked about organization and cleaning habits and those kinds of things. Time management is so important, and having those routines can help you. The other issue that seems to be a big problem is meal planning and cooking. Another big issue for homemakers is meal planning and cooking. And the problem seems to be that there's always meals to cook. If you're home all day, you got 3 meals to cook every day for who knows how many people. And you might have one likes this and one likes that. So it can be a problem. So trying to plan and prepare meals that are healthy, that are affordable, and enjoyable for you and more than one other person can be a challenge. So let me just ask you guys in the chat and on the replay, if you're on the replay, do you currently meal plan a week ahead? How does that work for you? And if you don't, what's your biggest obstacle to meal planning? Is it time? Is it inspiration, or is it something else? So what's your biggest obstacle to meal planning if you don't meal plan? And then the other thing I think would be interesting to know is, which meal do you struggle with the most? Is it breakfast, lunch, or is it dinner? Or maybe it's even snacks. And for me, breakfast is pretty simple. I like to have what I call nuts and berries. And my husband will laugh and say he wants some twigs with his nuts and berries. But what is nuts and berries for me? I'll have some blueberries, strawberries, and I'll put them in a bowl of yogurt. And then maybe I'll sprinkle some pecans as my nuts on there. And then sometimes I'll put in a little bit of raisin bran. I might make some granola, sprinkle that on top. That's a good breakfast for me. But now hubby ain't having that every day. He's like, look, I need something else. He prefers bacon and eggs, or he might like oatmeal and toast, or something that's a little bit heartier. But they're simple. And I think so often in this country, we have come to associate certain foods with breakfast. So it's not too bad. Now, when we were on our fast with the church, being creative with breakfast was a challenge because there were limited things that you could have. And so I've really learned to think about breakfast differently now. So what are your challenges in that regard? So Tina says, well, somewhere. Tina says she meal plans on the days that she cooks. So she looks in the fridge or in the freezer and decides what she's going to cook that day. Okay, I do that sometimes. Joe says she lacks energy, so that makes cooking difficult. So she doesn't plan because she doesn't know how much energy she's going to have from day to day. I get that. And then Felicia says, no matter how early I start, I feel like I'm cleaning and washing and folding and putting away, going from room to room, and then cooking and feeding children from morning to night. Phoenicia, I understand that. So let me ask you, how many children do you have? And what are their ages? And then you say no matter how early you start, you're cleaning and washing and folding and going from room to room. So first of all, I'm saying you're probably just going to have to call a halt to when you do things. So in the morning, children get up and they have breakfast. Like, put your kids on a routine just like you have a routine, particularly if they're home all day or if they're homeschooled or if they're coming in from school. breakfast is at this time, and you're going to get yourself up an hour before you get your kids up, get yourself dressed and ready and prepared for the day so you're ready to minister to them when they get up. Give them their breakfast, and then if they're old enough, let them play with a few things while you wash up the breakfast dishes and get those things put away. You got your laundry started, and while the laundry's going, you're going to do whatever other cleaning you had planned to do that morning. When it's time for those kids to take a nap, put them down for their nap, and either you take a nap or maybe that's a time for you to do something else that you need to get done. But that laundry that you started earlier, get that washed, folded, and put away. And I think the tidy up is something that's going to probably happen. Like your clutter stops are going to have to go on all day. So maybe you might need to take 5 minutes for that clutter stop. So after breakfast, the kids are playing, and kids always dump all the toys out. I don't know why, but they can't play with one thing. They have to dump everything out to find that one thing they want. But when it's time to have lunch or something, they got to put everything away and teach them to help you do that until it's time for lunch. And then they have their nap. And then when they get up, they're going to dump it out all over again. That's just what kids do. So one of the things you have to think about is what season of life are you in? And then when it's time for them to have dinner, you have dinner, and then after dinner it's time to get baths started. And so maybe about 6 or 6:30 you start those baths before they, and maybe they get their toys and things picked up before the bath or after the bath. You decide what works best for your family. But once you get them those baths, they pick up their toys, put away, and now it's time to get in the bed. Hopefully it's 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8 o'clock for you, no later than 8:30, depending upon how old they are. While they're in the bed, you're going to sit down, read them a story, listen to their prayers, give them a kiss, lights out, bring up that other glass of water because you know they're going to want another glass of water. And then I don't want to hear anything else out of you guys tonight. Put the light out and they need to go to sleep. If you need to put on some soft music to let it play to just kind of help quiet them down, that's fine. But kids need to be in bed by 8:30, no later than 9 o'clock, depending upon how old they are, so that you can have some time. And when you put them in bed, go around, and if there's anything that they've left out, they can help you pick up and tidy up before they go to bed. And then once they get in the bed, that's your time to rest and relax. And you're not cleaning and doing anything else. After dinner, you guys have cleaned up that kitchen, and the kitchen is closed. So you close that kitchen, no more snacks, no more nothing, and then go from there. You just have to say, okay, this is what's going to work in this house. Otherwise, you can run ragged all night long. And then some of the ladies in the chat may have some suggestions for you, Phoenicia, as well. So now Tammy says she doesn't write down a meal plan. She does it mentally, and that's becoming a problem. So, Tammy, making a meal plan can be very helpful. So what you can do, make your meal plan, write it in a notebook, on a piece of paper, wherever you want to put it. Then shop your fridge, shop your freezer to see what you have. And you want to make your meal plan from what you've already got. And then the things that you need to accompany that meal plan would be on your grocery list. And those are the things that you're going to buy. So Kathy hates to think about what to cook in advance. She gets tired because she doesn't have any great ideas. Kathy, one of the things you can consider is look to see, what do you have in the fridge to cook? Okay, you got a chicken in the fridge to cook. You got some broccoli in the fridge. You got some potatoes. You can just make roast chicken, baked chicken with broccoli and potatoes. Or get your phone and then go to our best friend Google, and what you're going to type in is recipes for chicken, broccoli, and potatoes. Go. You will get so many recipes in your phone or on your tablet or on your computer of what you can make with those items. So if you don't have good ideas of your own, go to Google and find some. There's all kind of places that can give you those ideas. The other thing to think about in regards to meal planning, and I'm thinking about trying this, I haven't mentioned it to my husband yet, we will see, is they have those subscription services that you can get for meal plan. Like I just saw one called the Hungry Root. There's also Home Shelf and just different ones where they will send you stuff in a box and you make those items. That's just a thought if that's in your budget. If it's not, Google it and come up with some good ideas. Uh, so Bathsheba said today she was exhausted, so she ordered pizza. She said husband didn't mind because she ordered pizza. Okay, pizza's a good idea. You can also order other things too. Like I like Panda Express and all that kind of thing. Phoenicia says she has 4 children, 11, 7, 3, and 1, and a dog that follows her everywhere. And the dog is like another kid. So here's the thing. Phoenicia with 4 kids, that the 7-year-old should be in bed no later than 8 o'clock, 8:30 at the absolute latest. The 11-year-old maybe can stay up till 8:30 and then get into bed between 8:30 and 9. They can lay there and read a book, listen to music, that kind of thing. But that 3-year-old should be in bed by 7:30. That 1-year-old, they're kind of like on their own schedule still, because 1 year, we're looking at 12 months. Between 12 months and 24 months, they're still kind of on their own schedule, but you can kind of get them into a routine where they go down maybe around 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, because they're gonna get up early. But you can get that baby into bed by between 7 and 9, and then when they're in the bed, they should be down. They shouldn't still be waking up in the middle of the night needing a bottle or anything like that at that age. The 11-year-old is old enough to get him or herself ready for bed, but they're still going to want a little quiet time with you, as will that 7-year-old. So depending upon whether or not anybody's sharing a room, when you get them in the bed, you can spend a little quiet time in there, sitting there and reading the story, that kind of thing, and then lights out. You just have to get some routines for you and your family that work for you, because you got to get some rest. And then the other thing, like Tina says, her husband doesn't mind leftovers. I know there are some husbands that do. Mine doesn't mind leftovers either, but my sister's husband would not eat leftovers. She had to make new meals every day for every meal. Um, but make freezer meals that you can make ahead and put in the freezer. Um, One of the things I like to do is roasted chicken on Sunday, and then I'll have chicken and dumplings with the leftover chicken on maybe Wednesday. Maybe you make a meatloaf on Monday, and then you have leftovers with the meatloaf on another day. You can make meatloaf sandwiches on another day, or just some other ways to have it. There's all kinds of things that you can do to try to help make that a little bit easier. And so that you're not cooking every day. And so that was the thing that Bashul was saying. You can make it become a freezer meal depending on what it is. So, like even with the meatloaf, I love shepherd's pie. So maybe you have meatloaf with mashed potatoes and gravy and some kind of green vegetable or salad or whatever on Monday. And then later in the week, you take that meatloaf and you kind of mash it up a little bit. And then you make a shepherd's pie and you use the meatloaf as the basis for that. So just different things like that. And Michelle is saying, if your kids are too old to take a nap, make the older ones have a quiet time in their bed reading for an hour so you can clean. Yeah, that's an excellent idea too, Michelle. So the 11-year-old is going to be in school. The 7-year-old may be in school, unless you're homeschooling. That 11-year-old and 7-year-old, they'll probably be away at school. Now, if they're homeschooling, then Michelle's got the right idea. They can have some quiet time reading the book for an hour while you do some cleaning or other things. So now I see here where Tina says she's switching and swiping her bathroom now because she didn't do it yet today. I understand. I understand. Kathy, you are quite welcome. One of the things that I have to tell you guys, God put it on my heart that I really need to be more of service this year. And now you guys know I usually don't talk like this, but that's where I'm at right now. And I really want to be more of service this year. So I'm just trying to be more intentional about the things that I share with you guys, the things we talk about, what we have to show about, and the different services that I provide. So I'm really trying to be intentional about that. But okay, so we've been on here a little over an hour and I need to hurry it up. One of the other things that was number 5 on the list is cleaning and maintenance. And so that's kind of repetitious, but it's a little different. I hope I'm spelling this right. And hey, Florence, I see you just joined us. So yeah, cleaning and maintenance is also on the list. It was number 5. And when we look at cleaning and maintenance, it's keeping the home clean and well maintained while balancing your other responsibilities. So we've pretty much already talked about that in detail. So I'm not going to belabor that point here. So then we're going to go on to number 6, which is work-life balance. Oh, thank you, Tina. You have to come back. We're here just about every Wednesday. I keep saying it's bi-weekly, but I rarely skip. But sometimes I just need the rest, and I do. Number 6 is work-life balance. That's another big problem for today's homemakers, particularly our young homemakers. So what do I mean by work-life balance? Well, that's trying to manage the things that's going on at work, probably outside the home, unless you're working inside the home, and then being able to manage those things that you do. It is just such a struggle. And here's the thing, you can have it all, just not all at the same time. You have to figure out a way to make it work for you. And one of the most important things in regards to work-life balance in managing your work commitments, household responsibilities, and personal time is going to be setting priorities and deciding what you need to do first, second, third, and then what is, oh well. And I have to tell you, that is one of the things that I still struggle with is work-life balance. And you may be like, Miss Denise, you're retired. Like, but I'm retired from working outside the home. But I do a lot of stuff. I do YouTube. So that means once a week, I'm trying to upload a video, which means I have to shoot it, upload it, no, shoot it, edit it, upload it, do the SEO in the description box, find the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. I have to do that. I have a show almost every other week. And then I have other responsibilities. I'm in a sorority. I go to church. So there's different little things that I do that I have to figure out how to balance. And I have a husband and I have to manage and, see to him from time to time. So there is a struggle. And I have to admit, I was talking to my therapist yesterday and she asked me why I was so busy. And I had the same conversation with my daughter a couple of months ago when I was setting my goals for this year. And she was like, why are you so busy? And my husband says, you're the busiest retired person I've ever seen. And I have always been busy. That's just me. I'm a busy person. So my therapist said, are you anxious? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm anxious. I'm not sitting there tapping and, like juggling and all this stuff. I said, no, I just always kept busy. I've always kept doing things. I can't just sit on the sofa and just watch TV all day. I just can't. I don't even turn the TV on. If the hubby's not here, it's not on because I'm doing other stuff. I might turn on a book on my Kindle, an Audible, and listen to something like that. But I listen to that while I'm working. So I had to think about that. And I'm like, well, I'm not anxious. I've just always been a person who had to have something to do, had to have a purpose. And so she gave me a challenge, and my assignment or challenge for this week was to find some quiet time for myself. And not only to find it, but to take it. And one of the things she said was, I want you to give yourself permission for quiet time. Now, one of the things that I do for me every day, just about, sometimes I'll skip it on Sunday, is yoga. First thing I do in the morning, I get up, I put my yoga clothes on, and I hit the mat. That's part of my daily routine. And it's the first thing I do because I know if I don't hit the mat first thing in the morning, I don't get back to it. Unless it's Wednesday, like today, when I go outside the house to a yoga class and I have yoga at 11. So then I'll do my house stuff first and then I'll go out to class and then come back. So that's one thing that I do every day for me. I've created that habit. She said, so I want you to create a habit of finding some time to just be quiet. And I'm like, so what am I going to do? Just sit there like for 30 minutes? I'm like, I can't see myself doing that. And she's like, no, but you can find some time to either, like maybe I can be quiet in prayer, which is one of the things I wanted to add this year in my routine was praying in the morning and in the evening, maybe reading a little bit more. Because I used to love to read and I still love to read, but sometimes I struggle depending upon what kind of print it is. And just more me time kind of stuff. So I got started today. I took a bath this morning, which I usually wait till at night, but I thought I'm going to take a bath this morning. And I just ran the tub. I gave myself permission to spend some extra time this morning and just take a bath. And so I ran the tub of water, put some nice little crystals and stuff in it. And it was so nice to just sit there and relax. Now, this was a good day to take a bath because I was going to be getting my hair done later on. So I didn't have to worry about the steam messing it up and then having to have, wrecked hair for the rest of the week. And I did set my iPad in there and I looked at a couple of little YouTube videos where I just kind of laid there and relaxed. But it was so nice to just relax at that time of day, which is a little unusual. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to try this. I have this book that Mickey Blue Skies gave me years ago, and it's just been up on my shelf, and I look at it from time to time, but I thought, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to try to look at it. It's like a daily devotional, and it has a different thing each day. And funny thing, I have to tell you guys, this is just so coincidental. When I was talking to my therapist, and I told her that I was going to consider using this book, and I showed it to her, and when I opened it up, and I said, oh, and I want you to see what it came up to. This was the day that I was talking to, which was yesterday. And it said a time to rest was the theme for that day. And I'm like, oh, I guess God's giving me a message because I just said I was going to start doing that. So that's going to be something I'm going to start doing to include in my life for work-life balance. What are you going to be doing to help with that? So Florence, I want to say hello to you. And Florence says that balancing work in the home and family focus is real. It really is. Now, you guys, Florence has a YouTube channel called Equip Institute, and she talks about productivity and being able to balance work and life and home. And she talks about different tools you can use to get that in. So I encourage you to check her channel out. I'll try to remember to put it in the description box so you can check her out. But she has such good ideas in that regard. And so Luan, oh, thank you, says I'm such a blessing to help those mothers with balancing their food, family, etc. Mine are raised and now the grands. And I tell you what, Lou, I get it. My grands aren't close. My son and his wife, they've got two littles and I get to see them from time to time. But my other two children, they live out of state. And so I get to see them when we go visit or like at big holiday times and when they come here, that kind of thing. So Michelle says she loves that. Oh, well. Well, yeah, she's after dinner. She's done. If it didn't get done before that, oh, well, tomorrow is another day. I know what you meant. And you're right, Luann. If we're so busy, then it becomes a chore. So, you think about what you're doing if you're busy, 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 but we do have to take the time to take care of ourselves. And you get to decide how much time that is. So I'm supposed to find quiet time, about 30 minutes, but at least 15, and we'll see how that works out. I'll keep you guys updated as to how that's going. But one of the things, though, that you can do to help with that work-life balance is to say no. Stop overcommitting. And sometimes I'm likely to do that. People will ask me, can I do things? And I know it's something that I can do. And I'll say, oh, sure. Not thinking about the things that I've already got on my plate. So that's something to think about. Not overcommitting. Create routines to help you manage your home, and then celebrate your accomplishments, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I didn't get this done. Oh, I didn't get that done. And not think about the things that I did get done. So be sure, moms, to think about the things you did get done. So Phoenicia, don't be so hard on yourself about what you didn't get done, but look at all the things that you did get done. And so the list that Michelle likes to make can be a big helper in that regard, because you can mark those things off, track what you've done, and like, oh, I got quite a bit done today. So yeah, there's that. And then the other thing you want to think about is practice self-care, that me time. And then focus on what matters most, what absolutely positively has to get done, and then delegate some things as well. And we talked about that delegation earlier. And then another big issue with many of the young parents is balancing childcare duties with household tasks, and maybe working either outside the home or inside the home, particularly if the kids are little. That could be a big problem. And moms, if you've got babies, your time is not your own until that baby is about 9 months old, and they've gotten themselves into a routine that you can kind of sort some things out in that regard. But your toddlers and preschoolers and your older children, you can get them in a routine and get them involved in helping you with doing things. And then working moms, you're just going to do what you can do during the week. And then on the weekend, plan to do those things that didn't happen during the week, but don't plan to do everything in those 2 days. You want to get things on, like the Fly Lady system, on a routine, on a cycle, so that you know what you're going to work on. And if you don't get it done this week, well, it'll come around again in 3 weeks, and then you can work on some things there. So as I mentioned earlier, even if you're working from home, don't try to slip in household things on your break, because those breaks are for a reason. They're for you to rest and rejuvenate so you can come back to work and do a good job. So do your homework once work is over. If you have to be on that clock from 8 to 5, you're supposed to take a lunch hour or a lunch 30 minutes, a lunch break, and 2 15-minute breaks. You need those breaks to give yourself time to prepare for the work you're being paid to do. And then once that's done, when that's over, then you can do those things you have to do at home. So don't let your partner try to say, well, you can just do that on your break. No, if he's out at the office, he's not coming home to run a load of laundry on his break and then going back to work. He's not doing that. And you shouldn't do that either. Now, you moms that are home all day, you stay-at-home moms, you've got a different system and a different routine, and both of you need to make that work for yourselves. And then for those moms that are working from home, here's something you might consider doing if you can work it out. Do a load of laundry every day, or spend your Saturday or Sunday getting it done. Do your weekly home blessing and your deep cleaning on Saturday morning. Take an hour or two to get that done. And ask for help. Ask for your partner and your kids to help you. Let's get all this work done in the first 2 hours, then we can have the rest of the day for family time on Saturday and Sunday, that kind of thing. And if you can afford it, pay a sibling or a teenager or someone to come in and help you do stuff. Just if you've got the extra money to do it, that could be a sacrifice that you make, is to pay someone to come in and help you. Someone to come in and clean or do laundry or whatever works. So again, let me just say, if you're just joining us, I'm Denise Jordan, your host, and this is our bi-weekly show, Homemaking with Purpose. And we talk about tips and tricks to help you manage your home, to help you make and keep your home. And today we're following up on the show I did a couple of weeks ago, that homemaking is not a highlights reel. And we're looking at the problems that many homemakers actually do have in trying to make and keep a home. So if you missed last show, catch the replay. And if you missed the power of 10 minutes, catch the replay for that too. Now, for my big announcement. So here's my big announcement. As I mentioned earlier, I had said that I was really wanting to be intentional and being more of service this year. And I get lots of requests for individual consulting. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. I have my Homemakers 201 course, but that's like a 8-week course that I do at certain times of the year. And I'm not doing that right now. And people have been wanting individual consulting. And my course is group consulting. So I decided I am going to start my individual consulting, and I'm going to run it through Patreon. So it's going to be like a membership that you sign up for on Patreon. And it's going to be 4 25-minute consultations or mentoring sessions. So there'll be 4 sessions a month. So once a week, 4 times a month, and the cost will be $100 for those 4 sessions. And you'll sign up through Patreon. Now, don't look in the description box yet because it's not in there. But Florence, I've been struggling with this decision. And Stephanie, I tell you, I finally decided just to go ahead and do it because it's just needed. So I'll get the Patreon set up. It'll be completely set up by tomorrow. And then I'm only going to take 5 just to get started. And I'm starting with such a low number because I want to get all the bugs worked out first, because I want to see exactly how it's going to flow for you. And when I get the Patreon set up, you won't be able to sign up right away for the mentoring because I have to talk to you on the phone to find out what days are going to work for you, because the days that I have available may not work for you. So you don't want to go in and sign up for 4 sessions, sign up for the $100 a month, and then I don't have anywhere to put you. So think about that. But yes, I'm going to get that started. And thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I tell you, I've been struggling with that decision. And I finally thought, okay, you just have to do it because the homemakers need it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. And then Magenta says, as a single mom with 2 jobs, she struggles to get on top of it and stay on top of it. I just can't do it. It's overwhelming. Magenta, I feel your pain a little bit. When I was working as a young mom and I had a partner, it was hard to stay on top of things. So I cannot imagine what you're going through with 2 kids. With 2 jobs and being a single mom. And it is overwhelming. I think what you might consider is how much help can the kids give you? What can they do at home to help you? What do you absolutely positively have to get done? And what can be, oh well? Because you can't get it all done at once. Like you said, you can't do it and it's so overwhelming. Now, one of the things, though, that will be helpful is routines, and being able to get some things done on with your routines will be helpful, because then you'll know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and you'll be able to get it done much more quickly because you're not spending time thinking, oh, what am I going to do today? You'll already know, and you can just, boom, get right at it. So there's that to think about. See what help you can get from family and friends. And if the ladies in the chat have any other suggestions or comments, there's that. So thank you, Florence. Thank you. We'll see how things are going to go. I have been struggling with this for over a year. People have been saying, you need to do individual consulting. And I'm like, So here I am adding something else to my plate. And that's the thing I have to be cautious about, is not overwhelming myself, because when I do something, I go in gung ho and go all in. So that's why I'm only going to start with 5 mentees. And then once I get all the kinks worked out of the program, then I can add some more time slots. So there's that. All right. So now let me invite you to sign up for my newsletter, the Homemakers Journal. I'll put the link to that in the description box. But it is my newsletter that goes out about every 5 or 6 weeks, and it's full of tips and tricks and different things like that to help you on your homemaking journey. And if laundry is a challenge for you, please sign up for my Laundry Lab Masterclass. And I'll put the link for that in the description box. We're going to kick the Laundry Lab off in April with a 10-day in the Laundry Lab challenge. So get on the list so that you know when that's going live. I got to let you guys see this comment. See, Florence, my sister, is putting my feet to the fire. And she says, what are you shutting down when you start this? And that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about not overwhelming myself or overcommitting. So that's why I'm just starting with 5. But you're right, Florence. What am I shutting down? There's a couple other, there's a committee responsibility that I'm on that I'm thinking about getting off of to kind of help in that regard. And the other thing I have to do is really look at, like, where's my time? And that's the other thing too, is like doing this show every other week instead of every week will be helpful. So we'll see. But I'm thinking about it, but I'm just like, she called me out on my own show. You guys see that? She called me out on my own show. But you're right, Florence. It's like, what am I shutting down when I start this? So I'll definitely be going to this show every other week instead of every week. So I'll be able to do a better job of the shows when they're every other week instead of every week, number one. And then number two, that also allows me more time to work with my mentees. So thank you, Florence, for making me, really think hard about that. But yeah. And then, Kathy, thank you for this. I should have thought about this, but and I was so busy thinking about something else. But for Magenta, to give yourself grace, and I think that is important. We are the hardest on ourselves, so do give yourself grace. And Kathy, thank you for reminding me that we need to do that. Is give ourselves grace, and so Magenta, give yourself grace. At the end of the day, your kids are not going to think about what you fed them for dinner or anything like that. What they're going to remember is how you made them feel. They're going to remember that you did the best you could to take care of them. And that's what you want. Yeah, sis, I hear you. And Michelle, you're right. I know you and Florence, my two friends here, my two sisters right here. Florence, I don't think you know Michelle, but you two need to get to know each other. Michelle's one of my good friends on YouTube, and then Florence, she's in another YouTube group with me, but you guys are both right. So that's why I was thinking every other week. I keep saying the show is bi-weekly, and it's really going to be that way. And then Magenta's thanking Kathy and Sue. And if you're Magenta, you're trying to stay consistent with your routines and then they get overwhelming. Maybe the routines are too much. Maybe you're doing too much, because the routines should not overwhelm you. The routines are supposed to help you. So if it's overwhelming, maybe you're doing too much. When you think about what you absolutely positively have to do, you have to make food for your family or buy it, but you have to feed your family. You have to wash the dishes and keep the kitchen clean. You have to do a swish and swipe in the bathrooms. Now, you don't have to do a daily swish and swipe if you absolutely positively cannot do that. I do a daily swish and swipe. I have the time to do that. If you are working 2 jobs, you might only have time for a swish and swipe once a week. Or, depending upon the ages of your children, the oldest one can help with the daily swish and swipe. Maybe you don't want them cleaning out the toilet bowl. Maybe you just want them wiping out the sink and the mirror. But depending upon how old they are, they can. And you can use something in the toilet bowl that is not caustic. You could use that Dawn or just some kind of little nice all-purpose spray cleaner. It doesn't have to be a chemical that you're afraid for them to touch. Get some help with those routines. Um, And again, so what do you have to do? You got to feed the kids. You got to wash the dishes. The beds probably need to be made every day. And because that helps the room to look neater, even if you just pull the blankets up and just throw the pillows at the top of the bed, they don't have to look like a hotel made bed. They just need to be neat. So things like that. And then you got to get the garbage out once a week, maybe twice a week, depending upon how big your trash cans are and how much trash you accumulate. And you got to do laundry. However, you can do laundry on the weekends or just do a load a day, depending upon how the kids are. If they're over 9 or 10, they can help with the laundry. So there's things that you can help do. I hear you. I hear you, Florence. I hear you. And yes, you're right. Because you guys know when I get overwhelmed, if I run myself down, then I'm in the bed for a few days and then nothing is happening. Luann, yeah, you're right. So Kathy, Florence called me out, and then Michelle called me out, and you said you were about to do it too. So yeah, you are absolutely right. So Sue says 1 hour of exchanging babysitting might make a difference. Pre-plan the chores that are top priority, Magenta. So that's a good idea. Pre-plan the chores that might be a top priority, and then maybe you can get someone that can maybe babysit while you're able to get some things done, or maybe you can babysit for them and they come in and do some cleaning for you. So that's a good idea. And Michelle says she doesn't swish and swipe every day. She does one bathroom a day. She has 4 bathrooms. I swish and swipe every day just because I can. But I'm telling you, on the days that I got a lot going on, I may only do like the main bathroom downstairs, or I might just do my bathroom and his bathroom and skip the one downstairs because that's the one we use least. And we don't have a lot of company. And if I skip today in the bathroom, you know what? It's going to be okay. However, if you skip too many days in the bathroom, you get that ring around the toilet bowl, and I don't like that. So that's why I try to keep them done every day. All right. So Tina said, good night. Have a beautiful evening. And Tina, I did not intend to be on this long. Oh my God, ladies, we've been on here an hour and 47 minutes. My husband is probably thinking, what is she doing? Because he's downstairs watching probably Purdue playing. It seems like Purdue is on every day. But anyway, I'm starting to chatter now. So it's probably time for us to wrap this up. So do let me remind you, sign up for my newsletter, sign up for the Laundry Lab Masterclass, and then don't forget to check us out at www.aprildiva.com. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, and be on the lookout for my Patreon. Starting in March. God's blessings and grace to all of you on there. Homemaking is such a hard job, and I hope you have the peace that God can give you as you navigate this journey. Bye. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Good night, everybody.